All right guys, welcome back to the channel. Look what the mailman has brought to my shop. We finally got our MechMaxx 48-inch magnetic brake. We're gonna test this thing out, review it a little bit. Y'all don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and if you like the video, go ahead and give it a like. And if you want to, leave a comment, let me know what you think. All right, so I made a video about a week or so ago on my smudge pots, and I explained a little bit in there about what this is. This is the stack for my smudge pots. That's the whole reason I bought the brake, was so I could fold these stacks around instead of having to score it in between here and fold it over and weld it. It was just taking way too much time. So we got the brake in, we're gonna test it out. The assembly was very simple, 20 minutes max. MechMaxx has a video on their website on how to assemble this thing. I just followed it step by step, and like I said, 20 minutes, I had it to this point here. The only thing that I did not like was that this cord here is not the cord that came with the machine. I made this cord. I just took some 14 gauge, 3-strand J cord and this NEMA 615 plug, and I had to make my own cord because it came shipped with a 110 plug, and this was hooked to the machine. Those 3 wires were hooked into this machine. This machine is a 220 volt machine. It will not work on a 110 volt plug. Why in the world they would send that, I have no idea. I understand it's an imported machine, they all are, but as soon as they got this and it had this plug on it, they should have known to remove it or shipped it with the correct cord. Now, luckily, I know how to make a cord. It wasn't a big deal to me, but someone that doesn't know how to make their own extension cord or wire up an outlet for it, I can understand why that would be a big deal. So that's the only complaint of the assembly that I've had, is that it shipped with the completely wrong cord. So like I said a minute ago, we've got this stack here, and it's got to be folded all the way around. And that's the reason I went with one of these magnetic brakes, is because that top jaw allows that stack to go all the way around, whereas like a regular pan and box brake, you got that top jaw that would prevent it from folding all the way over. So we're gonna get this thing in there and see what it does. I got my back gauge set, and I should be roughly 8 inches. And I got 8 inches on both sides. Now, this brake is rated for 16 gauge steel across the full 48 inches. 13 gauge steel, and this brake is rated for 16 gauge. So we're gonna see how it does. It's clamped. Oh yeah. Wow. That was pretty easy there. A little underbent. I'm gonna adjust this stop, and we're gonna rebend it. You see it kind of picked up there some, but I was really racking on it just then. Man, it don't get much closer than that. Man, that is a good, just about a perfect 90 right there. Now that's pretty impressive, considering it's rated for 16 gauge and this is 13 gauge. 13 gauge ain't no slouch to bend now. Let's just get this thing folded all the way over. I'm gonna double check it here. So I'm still kind of learning this thing. Whenever you mash this foot pedal, you can see that magnet engages, and then you let it off and it disengages. But when you pull this handle up to a certain point, you can hear it. You can hear like a little switch in there. When it clicks, you can let off the foot pedal, and it's still magnetized. It's so you don't have to sit there and hold the foot pedal and pull at the same time. So that's a pretty nice feature. I think they all have that, but that is a pretty nice feature, especially bending something like this, because I mean, it's pretty easy to bend, but if I had to sit there and hold the foot pedal, it would be kind of aggravating. So we're gonna get this thing bent all the way over. Oh yeah. Let's check that bend. It's a little over bent. I think I'm gonna adjust this stop back down some. All right. Got it set on 95 to allow for spring back. Now you can see what I was talking about earlier. This here, with no top jaw here, it allows this to be able to bend all the way over. That's the sole reason that I bought one of these things, because like I said, I was having to score down these to allow it to fold and weld it. It was just way too much time. So that is definitely a time saver. I'm gonna have to pull this out to get it off. Now that we know that thing will bend these stacks, I've got 5 more to do. We're gonna run through these. All right, I got another small project I have to do with this thing. I had a customer request some concrete form board splice plates. Essentially where you got form boards that meet like this on a long form. Instead of having to use a scab plate and nail it or screw it, you just take a piece of metal bent on a U shape, probably about 10 or 12 inches long, and you slide it over the joint. He wants about 10 of them, so I gotta cut them out on the plasma, and we'll be right back over here to bend them on this brake. All right, I got the plate cut here. Essentially, you're gonna have 1.5 inches here in the middle to go over your 2x4 or 2x6, whatever the form is made out of. And you're gonna have a 3.5 inch leg here, 3.5 inch leg here, and it's gonna bend a U shape. That way you can take and slide it over your form board where they need to be spliced together. So let's get it bent. And I did cut notches in it there right on the edge so that I can put it in the right spot and not have to measure anything. We'll clamp it down there. You can see I overbent it a little bit, or a good bit. I thought I had my stop set, but I did not. So we'll see if I can stand on this, try to open it back up. All right, I was able to open it back up to where it's a little closer to a 90. I think it's still a little over, but it's okay. So we're gonna line that one up. All right, we're clamped. That is not near enough. All right, you can see there, just a little overbent, but like I said, I can fix that. But you get the idea of what this is made for. So now, where your form board comes this way, you got a splice plate you can insert on top of them, and that holds them together rather than having to cut a wooden scab plate and screwing it to your forms. It's just nice to have. He wants 10 of these things. Now just to talk about the brake itself a little bit, you can see here all the dies that it comes with. It's got this solid top die, and you have your segmented dies here, and they do have dowels on them. You can see that little dowel pin there, and it fits, you know, in the ones that have the holes. That way you can get a good tight fit like that, and you can, you know, segment it ever how you need to. Now, I did try to bend that concrete splice plate with this one, but I think because this was only about a 1/2 inch wider on each end than the plate itself. So what was happening was when I clamped it, when I went to go bend it, it was trying to pop that die up. And I think that's just because it was not much wider and it didn't have much to, it was trying to magnetize through the plate, obviously, but it didn't have much surface area outside of it to help clamp it down. So I wound up just using this top die here. It also comes with this split die here. So I guess if you have a box that fits anywhere in between these grooves, you're able to have a full length die and you can still bend a box with it. And this one here is just a solid die and it's just a little more narrow than this one here. I think all in all, it's a pretty good buy. I would highly recommend it if you're looking for, a sheet metal brake that you may not bend a lot of things, but you know, it's just nice to have. I had to have it for a specific application, and I'll definitely use it in the future. But we don't do a whole lot of bending here, but that's also because we haven't had anything to bend with. So now that I can offer some bending, I'm hoping to get a few more jobs doing it. But these things are pretty well the same across the board. I mean, there's a few different brands, and from the reviews that I've seen and the videos that I've seen, everything that comes with them is pretty well standard. I mean, they all got the foot pedal. All these dies are essentially the same. They just basically stick their paint on it and sell it under their name. But other than them sending me a 110 cord for a 220 machine, that's the only problem I've had. It works pretty well flawlessly. It did what I needed it to do, so I would highly recommend it if you're in the market for one. I saw no reviews for this particular machine online anywhere, so I figured I'd record one and get it out there. Maybe it'll help somebody in the future. But yeah, if you're looking for a brake, a magnetic brake, I'd highly recommend this one. It works great. I appreciate y'all watching. Y'all stay tuned for the next one.